Boxing truth here. Alright, let's talk about Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, and how there's a lot of commotion about him putting his career on hold. Why is he waiting for Canelo Alvarez? Loeffler and Golovkin's team are putting deadlines. They want to finalize the rematch immediately, giving a deadline of December to make this a done deal, even though I've never heard of a fight get finalized 5 months before it's supposed to happen. Golovkin is not really putting his career on hold for trying to negotiate and finalize the most significant fight out there in his career right now, and that's a rematch with Canelo Alvarez. This is the fight that really matters. This is the fight for all the marbles. This is a legacy fight. This fight will determine who is the true pound-for-pound king. Even though Ring Magazine will probably beg to differ, since they have Canelo Alvarez placed at number 6 on their pound-for-pound list, not even top 5. But Golovkin decided to bypass a December fight, since he got banged up in the Canelo fight. Took a lot of shots, was a very tough fight. So he's not really putting his career on hold. They're not going to get a date from HBO until March or April. And Golovkin still needs to prove that he beat Canelo Alvarez this past September. He needs to prove that he's better than Canelo Alvarez. The rematch at least will give us an opportunity to give us some answers of who was the true winner between these two back in September. At least an opportunity. Of course, officials, Nevada officials, the referee, a lot of stuff could have an impact when it comes to the definitive outcome in boxing, which is a lot harder to get these days, especially when it comes to big super fights. But what else is out there for Golovkin that even compares to a Canelo Alvarez rematch? What's out there for Canelo? He can still do solid business fighting Danny Jacobs or fighting Lemieux or Saunders, but it's nothing compared to a Golovkin rematch. I mean, Gennady Golovkin has made it. Even though people call me a Triple G hater or whatever, that I'm all of a sudden a Triple G hater, Golovkin made it. He's done something unprecedented. A Kazakhstan fighter who was fighting on an HBO undercard 5 years ago is now suddenly among the top 3 biggest stars in the sport today. Was able to generate over 1 million pay-per-view buys with another star fighter. And he did it with the type of background he's coming from the other side of the world, broken English, just a devastating fight style, and a likable guy. I mean, when it comes to popularity-wise, it seems to me he's much more likable than compared to Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is hated for strange reasons that I can't understand. I mean, the guy fights everybody, puts it on the line, still gets no props, gets no respect. Golovkin is criticized, but what's there to criticize? He's one of the real fighters out there. So is Canelo Alvarez. These two are real fighters. These two are fighters that you can root for because they're willing to put it all on the line. They're willing to put their legacies on the line. They're willing to put it out there, and they want to be remembered. They want to be one of those names that never get forgotten in boxing. These are two guys that you can root for. They're not protected hype jobs. They don't just talk shit, call people out, and don't fight anybody like Deontay Wilder. They don't need protection schemes from sanctioning bodies or Hamanized opponents to lay down for them. These guys are willing to fight the best out there, and they've proven it on more than one occasion. Now, when it comes to Golovkin, I just don't view him as highly as other people do, especially the followers on my channel. To me, he's still formidable, still one of the best fighters in the world, but I don't think he's better than Canelo Alvarez, so sue me. He has an opportunity to prove it in a rematch, but he's not as good as advertised, Golovkin. He's not this middleweight destroyer that can destroy super middleweights and light heavyweights. We all know that's not true. Abel Sanchez overrated him. He's just extremely biased toward Golovkin. You've seen it before the Canelo fight, where he did the head-to-head with Marcos Villegas of Fight Hub TV. They put all the attributes of both fighters, and Abel was so biased towards his fighter, and it's understandable, but you can be a little bit objective. He wouldn't even give Canelo the speed advantage in the fight, and we all saw in the fight that Canelo is much quicker, much faster, and the speed was a factor in that fight this past September. You saw the difference in speed between both fighters, but Golovkin, he's formidable. It's almost impossible to knock his ass out, but it's very possible to outpoint him. It's very possible to win by decision. That's how he's lost his fights in the amateurs. He got outpointed. So you can outpoint Golovkin. Can you knock him out? Remains to be seen. But Golovkin's not putting his career on hold. This is the fight that really matters. This is the fight that will define his legacy, define his career. And if he beats Canelo, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That accomplishes everything in his career. To becoming a big star that he is now. To be able to generate that type of pay-per-view buyership with another star fighter. Considering where he's coming from. And there's people out there that are saying Loeffler fucked up his career. I mean, it's laughable. Loeffler did a tremendous job with what he had. To be able to build up Golovkin from undercard bouts on HBO to now main event headliners in the mecca of boxing, Las Vegas, where all the big fights happen. And that's where the rematch is most likely going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see where Golovkin careers go from here, though. Say he doesn't beat Canelo in a rematch, or if he moves up to super middleweight, because we all know he's not that monster that Abel Sanchez advertised him to be. There are interesting fights if he does move up to super middleweight. He said he will move up for a big fight, but what's a big fight out there right now? David Benavidez is not the biggest fight. That'd be an interesting fight, though. The winner of Groves Eubank will be a big fight. James DeGale. It'll be interesting to see if Golovkin how he performs it in the super middleweight division if he ever does move up. Ramirez will be a tough fight for him. Eubank will be an interesting fight against him. Eubank could outpoint him, unless Eubank can't take the power, of course. I think he beats Groves. I think he beats DeGale. David Benavidez would be an interesting fight, though. But if Golovkin's true to his word, he's got about 5 more years ahead in his career. He doesn't need to worry about Billy Joe Saunders right now. Even though he wants the WBO strap, Saunders is nothing, like he said months ago when he was promoting the Canelo Alvarez fight. Billy Joe Saunders still is nothing. He's still nothing. He's just a paper champion. But he has the last recognized belt that Golovkin wants. But until Billy Joe Saunders does something impressive, which is go over to Canada, beat David Lemieux convincingly, then Billy Joe Saunders is really irrelevant right now. Especially when it comes to a potential rematch with Canelo Alvarez. The fight that most fans want to see. Since Golovkin still needs to prove that he beat Canelo Alvarez on September 16th. Billy Joe Saunders can wait. Let Saunders fight Lemieux. He beats Lemieux. He fights Jacobs in the first quarter of 2018. The winner of that fight can fight the winner of Golovkin Canelo for all the marbles for the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. That's how it should play out. Let Billy Joe and Danny Jacobs prove their worth to get the winner of Golovkin and Canelo rematch. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.